I don't mind the people of the last administration calling for my resignation. My shoulders are broad. But let me say that I am committed to the task of securing Barbadians and Barbadians' lives. We have never offered any quick fixes. And that young man who got shot dead yesterday at age 20, 3 or 4 years ago, he would have been in one of our secondary schools. And maybe 2 years before that, he would have been in a Sunday school. That young man was not born a criminal. Somewhere along the way, he became a criminal. But it wasn't Cynthia Ford that made him a criminal. It wasn't Mia Motley that made him a criminal. It wasn't Ryan Strawn, Rawdon Adams. It wasn't any Barbados Labour Party MP that made him a criminal. There are systemic failings in our society that caused that young man, if he was a criminal, I don't know. And I hope I've caused no offense. But I'm really only dealing with the fact that a large number of our young men who are charged with firearm offenses are in their very early 20s. So those are the ones that I'm focusing on. If I cause any offense, let me apologize to you. But our young men were not made criminals by this Barbados Labour Party. Our young men were made criminals by a system that failed them. You call the police after it has happened. But hopefully you should call the parent before. And I'm not making any excuses. But in the same way I said to my son last night, son, stay on the straight and narrow. We have a responsibility as the individuals who are in a position to guide our young men and women, to tell them in the early to stay away from that environment. As a little boy, Cynthia, I could not bring home a toffee. I couldn't bring home a pencil because my parents stood for certain principles. Don't bring anything into this house that you did not carry. But today we have young men bringing home guns and bullets. And not a word. Not a word. You know, for the first time in the history of Barbados, when we came to government, we, recognizing the problem that gun violence especially was, offered and hosted a National Security Council briefing for all of Cabinet because we felt Cabinet needed to understand what was happening. And we included the leader of the opposition. If Grandpa Phillips have his way, he won't be leader for long. But we included Joe Adderley in that briefing. And we also briefed the parliamentarians and the senators separately. And then to cap it all off, we briefed all of the senior civil servants. And Cynthia could tell you, we briefed all of the senior civil servants on what was happening in Barbados as far as crime was concerned, because we recognize that you can't deal with the issue of crime purely as a policing problem. Yes, we've had problems with policing, but you can't arrest crime by only dealing with the policing issues. Now, for those DLP people who feel that gun violence only started last year or year before, I went into the archives. And in the newspaper of August 20th, 2015, the headline was "Gun Crazy." And the acting commissioner of police was then complaining about the abundance of illegal weapons in Barbados, which he said were coming into Barbados through legitimate ports of entry. And all through 2015, the Commissioner of Police was constantly saying to the last administration, we have a problem with guns. We have a problem with guns. Not a word from the then Attorney General. The Commissioner said the guns were coming in through legitimate ports of entry. That would be the post office, the airport, the seaport. And the Prime Minister has told you before that the Democratic Labour Party presided over the total collapse of the infrastructure at the port so that we had no scanners to pick up the guns. This scanner was working 1 hour in 1 day every week. And 90% of all of the containers coming through our ports were going through to the people to whom they were destined without being scanned. We came to power and we fixed that. Because we recognize that unless we equip the officers at our ports of entry with the appropriate high-tech devices, we stood no chance of arresting the bringing of firearms into Barbados. And the Commissioner of Police on Friday said to the press that guns are still slipping through. We know that. They are still slipping through. This is nothing that we are hiding from the people. But I'm telling you that whatever slipping through now is a hell of a lot less than was coming through in the last administration. These are difficult times for Barbadians. And at a time when our economy is suffering, where we are having serious challenges, gun violence is not what you want to be greeted with. But let me tell you that we recognize also that there was a disconnect between the people committing the crimes and being charged and the cases being heard and convictions being imposed. When we came to government, we found over 1,000 criminal cases in the assizes awaiting trial. And we found 2 criminal judges. Do the maths. 2 criminal judges and over 1,000 criminal cases waiting to be tried in the High Court. And month after month after month, the last administration saw this and did not understand that it could not continue. If you look at our manifesto, we said that we were going to bring 2 new judges to the High Court to deal with criminal matters. Ladies and gentlemen, we brought 5. We brought 5 because we came to power and immediately recognized that we had a problem that was way over and above what we anticipated it would have been. And we fixed it. When we came to government, we found that people charged with firearms were getting bail. And I well remember the Prime Minister saying, I didn't know that people who were charged with murder were getting bail. He said so in 2017. But when you check the records, you would see that in 2016, 7 people who were charged with murder got bail. And 33 who were charged with firearm offenses got bail. And in 2017, 6 charged with murder got bail, 45 charged with firearm offenses got bail. And in 2018, 9 charged with murder got bail, and 38 with firearm offenses got bail. And instead of talking about it, I am proud to be in an administration that recognized we needed to do something about it. And we amended the Bail Act to say to the criminals, if you are charged with murder, if you are charged with a firearm offense, no bail for you.